There we go. So welcome to our vision casting call. We have a lot of ground to cover as always, and we're going to try to keep this to 30 minutes. So here's the first thing I want to tell you. I can't wait for everybody to share what they found out. And I know that we all need a lot of work. We all need a lot of practice. Like I got that loud and clear that we're all going to benefit from continuing to practice this. The other thing I wanted to share is Tara shared with me Jill Bauman, who's somebody that we met at Top Achievers, just did a long post and shared that she just hit 7 figures. She has 7 millionaires on her team and over 100 6-figure earners. And that made me feel like we definitely have to get better at this skill because it's possible. And I have a feeling they're doing a pretty good job casting the vision over there. So the other thing I wanted to say really quick is thank God for these products and thank God for this safety net, because I don't know about you guys, but I was already at that I need to detox point. Like it came to yesterday. I'm like, it's got to stop the madness. Like stop the madness, the cookies, just stop the madness. So I cleansed today and I feel so much. Just that 1-day reset, like get it under control. I feel so much better. Just wanted to share that. So we're really lucky. We don't think about it. We take it for granted that we have this tool, it works, and we know we can feel so much better like that. And there's so many people out there that don't have this tool, and they would have been in my situation yesterday, and they probably would have kept eating cookies and kept feeling crappy, right? And it's a gift, and we got to keep sharing it. And the opportunity is a gift too. And we have got to get out of our own way and figure out how to share this with people, right? So I'm going to share something that happened on Friday. So Jill's on the call. Jill and I had a teacher's gift. Some of you know the story, I shared it. We had we brought the girls together to hand make teacher's gifts. And the moms were sitting and talking and the girls were making wreaths, and it was really fun. We had a lot of fun. And then we had cookies, and we made cookies for the teachers too, whatever. And so I was talking to Jill's friend, Suzanne. And I don't know Suzanne. Suzanne and Jill have been friends for a while. I met her once very briefly. And we were talking, and I was talking to her about her job. Because that's what I do. I'm very interested in what people do. I'm very interested in what they do at work, their careers, whatever. And so, I said, what do you do? And she said, oh, I work at marketing at a bank. And I said, well, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean to be in marketing at Revere Bank or whatever bank it was? And she said, oh, social media and events. And I said, oh, what kind of events, client events, whatever. I said, well, do you like it? And she said, oh, I like parts of it. I said, oh, well, which parts do you like? And we talked about what parts you like. And then I said, well, if you could do anything you wanted, what would you do? And she paused, right, for a minute, and she didn't say anything for a minute, right? And I said, well, like, what are you really passionate about? And what did she say, Jill?
She said shoes, which I knew, but not on this level.
Shoes. I said, oh, shoes. Well, what do you mean shoes? Like, what does that mean? She said, I would like to work in shoes. Something to do with, she said, I love shoes. I just love shoes. And that's what she would do. Like, and so and so I didn't want her to feel, I didn't share this with you, Jill. I didn't want her to feel double teamed, like we were ganging up on her. And then she asked me what I would do, didn't she? Well, that's like opening Pandora's box, right? Because I have a lot of things on my vision board for, and hopes and dreams and plans. And for me, network marketing is the vehicle to fund your dreams and passions and your legacy. That's how I view network marketing. It is the vehicle to fund those big, exciting things out there for me. And so, we talked a little bit about it, but now we know it's shoes, and we'll be working on it, right? We'll be working on what could be possible, talking to her more about the shoes and presenting this income opportunity as a way to get to her shoes, right? And so, but it was really natural. Don't you think that was a really natural conversation, Jill?
unmute. Oh, I was trying to unmute. Yes, and what I thought was interesting, because I've known Suzanne a long time, and she tends to be a pessimist. She tends to be a cynic, and I just know that about her. And so when Dawn was saying, I would like to do X, Y, and Z, she said, well, really, would you have people do that? Like, she started asking how would that actually work? Could that be possible? And Dawn had an answer, and it was like, you've thought about it, and it is possible. And you were like, no. And I thought you really turned it around, and planted the seed that anything is possible. And anything is not overwhelming. And if you really just lay it out, it's totally doable. And if you think it through. And I was at Home Goods on Saturday, and I saw this amazing book that was for the history of the shoe in fashion. And I was like, oh, I should get that for Suzanne. So it was really funny because it makes me see things now that would apply to her and feed that.
So I didn't ask the magic wand question. I did, right? But I didn't ask it that way. But it was really natural. If you start talking to people about what they do for their job, what they do for a living, ask them what they like about it, ask them what they don't like about it, dig, right? And get them talking about it a little bit. You'll find out what they don't like about it. You'll find out that they're not necessarily, 70% of people in America do not have job satisfaction. There's pieces of it that they do not like. And then you can segue into, if you could do anything at all in the world, what would it be? Right? And so another way to get there is with Dina's been very successful using the magic wand question, Dina, but the magic wand question that is, if you could change one thing about your life, if you had a magic wand, it could change one thing about your life, what would it be? Or if you had a magic wand, it could change one thing about your health or wealth, what would it be? Or if you really want to zero in on the health, just the magic wand and change something about your health. That's just that simple change in languaging makes it a little more accessible for people, right? That's accessible for you, Dina. You're really comfortable with that question. And then and Dina said it came up today, right? It came up with a gal at work today.
Yes. Yesterday when I was talking to her, I forgot to tell you earlier, I started with if you had all the time and money in the world, what would you do? And she said, she goes, if I had all the time and money, then I wouldn't have any problems, and then we started to delve a little further. And then I said to her, okay, so if I gave you a magic wand and you could change anything about your health, what would it be? And then that's when I got the list. Of course, the answers that we all want to hear, I need more energy to play with my kids. I want to lose some weight. And then after everything I would say to her, and she said, I want to lose more weight, I would say, okay, tell me why you want to lose more weight. And then we talked about it, and then I want more energy. Well, why do you want more energy? It was almost a perfect, conversation. And I've been dripping on this one for a while, so we'll just keep it going.
Awesome. So so for a lot of you guys said that magic wand, if you had all the time and money in the world and, time and money, what would you do with your life? A lot of people said that doesn't feel natural to them. So what feels natural to me might not feel natural to you, but the way that Dina says it maybe is a little easier to work into a conversation, or based on what you're going for, like how to start to generate that conversation. And Joni, what was your epiphany about how you're gonna get connected to people and start sharing the vision?
Okay, so I have recently a number of people finishing up their first 16 weeks of the IsaBody Challenge. And with the IsaBody Challenge, I always enter the photos for them. And at the start, and I always finish the IsaBody for them. I have them send me their essay because I want to read it. And I have them send me their after photos so that I can make that side by side for them. I feel that's my responsibility as a coach, because a lot of people just will not do it for themselves. And I really changed that over this last few months because of the championship, because IsaBody is a huge thing for that challenge. And so I had 3 people so far that just this week finished up IsaBodies. And so I did send them their photo. And I said, can you talk tonight? And I had read their essays and I was blown away by their essays. So when I called them and I could talk to them, first of all, just celebrate them. Yay, way to go. You finished your first Isabody, and, obviously we got them in their second one. And then being able to talk to them about what they wrote in their essay, and to be able to segue that into, well, is there anybody that who wants to feel as great as you? The one person said, we have a really great group text with about 14 women in it, which is really kind of amazing. And I said to her, do you know any of those women besides me and Gina? And she's like, no, but it's amazing. And I said, can you imagine sharing that with somebody that and love? She's like, oh my gosh, yes, I can think of that. I can think of people who could do that. So really leveraging the Isabody challenge to be able to open up that conversation with people who you may have said something to them, when they first started, in your enrollment call, you may have, said something to them, on that 5-day call. Both of these people, the one I had said something earlier, and now she's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's, I really do feel like I can share this with people. So using the Isabody challenge as a way to open up conversation.
And that's duplicatable, right? You've got this whole system. It's a little bit of a longer timeline, and it's not necessarily casting the vision right away, but you get them in the Isabody challenge. Their retention is going to be so much higher. Now you've got a before and after they've provided you, so you can get them in the Isabody. Now you've got your before and after, and now you say, oh my gosh, you have such a powerful story. We could share this with the world. And do you know? And then that's when you can, can I tell you why I share this with the world?
Yep. And Dawn, you don't have to wait until the 16. I have people send me their, their beginning photos, and then I have a folder on my phone so I can find them easily for each person. And then I have them send me their 30-day photos. So then I can give them that 30-day, so that you can do this at 30 days. Gina, my one person, literally sent me her photos at like 3 weeks, and I put them side to side, and she was blown away. And I was like, let's share this. And she did. And she enrolled 15 people because of it, but she was a go-getter. Not everybody does that. But, I really.
Let's share this. Let's get it posted, right? Let's get you paid. Per Robin's conversation earlier today, let's get them paid. And then really opens up the opportunity to have a conversation about casting the vision. Now they're a consultant. Ideally, we've signed up 2 people. We've gotten them a nice ISA wallet in their hand. And then, you zero in, you tell them why you're doing this and what you're passionate about, whether it's maybe the money isn't primary for you. Maybe you really do have a true heart of service, and you are in this because you want to help people with their health and with their wealth. Whatever it is that lights you up, and you can communicate that and then start to pull out of them what would make a difference for them. Would $500 a month make a difference in your family's financial health? That kind of thing. So, Penny, what happened for you this week when you were practicing?
Well, it became obvious that I needed to practice. The practicing both with you and Genevieve and everybody else helped me find my vision. It was in there. I just didn't know what it was. And then as I did my vision statement in a video that is in a group that Tara and Amanda put together, and we were sharing with each other our videos, which that was powerful. And so that kind of leapfrogged into me being able to just practice with anybody and everybody I was running into. So I've just shared it with a whole bunch of people randomly at work. I have my key people that I'm trying to share it with because I would love them to be on my team, and I'm practicing with them, which has been interesting because their reactions are funny. They're just looking at me like, you're going to do what? They just can't even imagine that I would want to leave my job so that I could create a different lifestyle. But I'm planting those seeds. And it's also helped me really say to people, just the whole idea of, if you could change anything about your health, what would it be? If you could change anything about your life, what would it be? If you had all the time and the money in the world, what would you do with it? Those have just become really, they're becoming more and more natural questions for me to just ask routinely. Whereas before, I just didn't even think that way. So it's changed my mind shift quite a bit.
Awesome. I have a few people I will call on, but who wants to volunteer? Like, what any aha moments they had, any takeaways, anything that didn't feel good, anything that felt better. Like, let's hear what happened in your practices and what you discovered.
Dawn, before I do have one more thing to say. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't want to be a hog.
No.
The other thing that became really, really clear is that I was holding back on my passions and my why. I was protecting everyone else because I was afraid it was going to be too heavy or too much. And I think that lack of authenticity and the lack of power, my story is very powerful.
Share your story, Penny. Can you share your story right now? The short story that you've developed in the, over this last.
Yeah. That really, I've been through about 8 years of really very difficult traumas in my life, really serious life happenings. And in my quest to hold my life together, what ended up happening was my life was falling apart and my health fell apart. So I started Isogenics in an effort to repair my health. And as my health was getting repaired, I began to realize that I wanted to create a different life for myself. One of my big losses was that my son committed suicide 5 years ago at 24. And I now have a 13-year-old at home who is a very unexpected gift in my life. And she's the light of my life, along with my husband. And I'm acutely aware that she's going to be leaving our house. And I don't want to lose the rest of her life with me, the rest of her time at home with me. It's like sand slipping through my fingers. And so I want to recreate my life. I no longer have to be a victim of, this is the life I had to put together to just put a roof over our head. Now I get to choose, and I want to choose to be home. So I want to build my business to the point where I can leave my 9-to-5 job so that I can be home to spend time with my daughter. And then I segue into, is there something you want to change in your life? What options do you have open to you? But by then, at that point, they're kind of shell-shocked. That's been sort of the reaction. And a lot of them are like, good for you. That's awesome. But they're a little shell-shocked because it's pretty revolutionary in their mind, is what I'm seeing.
That's awesome. And that's awesome. And people want to, unfortunately, like you've been trying to protect everyone has some kind of pain in their life, Penny.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to let them relate. You've got to tell them your life's not perfect either. You've got to tell them what your pain point is. I've been doing this. I reached this point. This is what happened. This was my pain, whatever it was, because they don't have to necessarily have the same pain as you. They just want to hear that you had pain and then you went and found a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then
right.
If you can relate it to them. And so I think that I think your story is really powerful, and I don't think you're alone being the mother of a 12 or 13-year-old who really wants to spend as much time with them as possible, because I know because I've got 3 older ones, how fast they grow
right.
and they're gone off in their own lives. I mean, she still wants to spend time with you. She still wants to spend time with me. How lucky are we? Take every minute.
Exactly.
Because pretty soon,
yep.
Boys come along and other stuff.
Yeah.
So I think telling that story, sharing that with people, there's a lot of other people that are like us, and they just want to spend as much time with their kids as they can. Really.
But the key was I could not develop that story without help from first Genevieve, and then you, and then Lisa Colby. And then, I've had to really work at it because that doesn't come naturally to me. Whereas now it's becoming much more natural because
Yeah,
I've
it
practiced.
feels really natural when you tell it, when you
Oh,
spoke
good.
that and when you started talking about how you're asking that question more and more, it didn't feel like, it didn't feel like that.
Right. But that's because it's been a lot of practice.
I'm chiming in here because I guess one of the first ones that spoke with Penny, and the difference between then and tonight, I got choked up again. That feeling like the grains of sand going through the fingers really is powerful to me, like really, really powerful. So I told her, you've got to make sure that you say that. But then when you said the part about how you're so clear that you have a choice, totally got me choked up. So I want you to know the impact that your share had on me tonight.
Thanks, Genevieve.
Who else wants to share what their practicing did or any kind of aha they had? Because we got to keep practicing. Clearly we've just started in this process, right? This doesn't happen overnight. But I think we did have some wins. I'd like to hear some other people's wins.
Dawn, I'll share. I know
Awesome.
I know you can't see my face because I'm in the
Hear
dark.
you.
Well, I kind of wanted to piggyback also what Penny said. I mean, I always had this vision of, wanting to stay at home and raise my future kids. And, I had that vision pretty clear. But something happened this week. In a group chat I am with my high school friends, one of my friends sent a picture of the $1,500 daycare bill that she has for her son. And I added it all up, and I was talking to my parents, like, you realize that's $18,000 a year. And then discussing how I wanted to always raise my own kids. That was always in my mind. But then thinking, too, no matter what, I still have to pay that $1,500 when I'm off in the summer. Didn't matter. And just thinking how, I know I have the vehicle for it. And it was like I just had this strength this week about telling people at work. Like the girls I work with, they know I do isogenics. A few of them use the products. But I was very clear in saying, I plan on getting pregnant, and the second I have a baby, I'm taking a year off. Like, I have it, like, burning in my heart, knowing, like, even Drew said to me last night, he goes, you better take a year off and see if it's going to work for our family. And I can't wait to prove to everyone that it will. And I've never felt like I've never felt the strength with it before. I've always kind of had, like, I really want to, I want to, it's in my mind, but I never until this week had this, like, fire inside of me thinking, all right, it's going to happen. I will take a year off and see where it takes me. And I think so that was kind of a huge aha for me this week.
Who can hear it in her voice? Like who gets her certainty and her passion and her power and where she's at with this, not even just telling us about what she was sharing with other people.
She can't see all of our faces, Jenna. We are all smiling and nodding, and all of us are just like totally. I mean, I'm watching all the faces, and
I was like, do I want to get? Drew and I are talking about it. But I'm like, should I get pregnant now so I can start this like show on the road? It's kind of like one of those things where we're not sure, like, is it the right time, or there's never going to be a right time. But I have never. I'm telling you, in my 3 years of doing this. Like seeing that $1,500 bill. I don't know. I saw it and it was like, screw that. That's seriously how I felt.
Put that up on your wall, Jenna, so you see it every day.
I sent it to my mom. I was like, this is ridiculous. Daycare's absurd.
Well, guess what, Jenna? She who is most certain wins.
I know. I feel ya. That's my new favorite quote. All because of you.
Well, you're coming out really certain. Like, that's what I get. That you're like in this place. Like $1,500 a month for somebody else to raise my kid is not happening in my life.
And already in the beginning, I knew I wanted to do it myself anyway. But then it's like, wow, to really pay $1,500 for someone with something I don't even want. Like, it's just, it's robbery. So, okay. But yeah, that's all I have to say. So that was a win.
Jenna, I did that, and I dropped my child off. And where I lived 12 years ago, infant care was around $2,200 a month. And so around here for infant care for newborns, it's probably more like $3 now a month. And It is awful. And you, because you have this vision, can meet all sorts of women who are ready to get pregnant, are pregnant, and cast this vision. Because I have to tell you, no matter what career you have, when you get pregnant and you know you're having a baby, it is the most painful thing to think about dropping them off at 3 months old for someone else to take care of. And I'm just telling you, that is the most powerful audience and vision you can cast.
Thank you. And I do sometimes feel like I have that vision of those moms and those people that's going to be my team and that's going to be my, my group, but like no one's there yet. I'm 28. None of us have really started having the kids yet, so it hasn't been there, but I know that's where it's going. And I can't wait for all of my friends to sit there and I show them what I'm doing, and they're going to be like, wow, how did you do that? I just know. I have that feeling that it's going to happen when I get to that point. I want to prove people. Like, everyone sits there and they're watching. Same thing like you said, Penny, like, oh, good for you. That's really nice. I'm glad you're happy. But when I show it to them, it's going to be even better. I mean, that's what I think for me, too. And for everyone, you just have to show it to people for them to see it. Okay,
so we need to keep doing these calls, don't you think? Because we need to keep doing this, because this is how Jill Bauman has 100 six-figure earners on her team, because they know how to cast the vision, right? They know how to talk to people. They're not scared to talk to people about what it is that we all see and what it is that we've all embraced. So I think that I'm trying to be mindful of the time, but there was something that Genevieve said today that I thought maybe we could do since we're kind of in this, in a good space. And I want you to think about and write down on a piece of paper what's in your way. What is in your way? What is stopping you from casting the vision effectively? What's stopping you from being your authentic self? What's stopping you from, like, what's holding you back from helping people? We talked about it last week. $500 could be the difference between somebody being in bankruptcy. $500 a month could be the difference between saving a marriage. And we're not sharing with people. Why? Because we're not, right? We're not doing it effectively. We're starting, we're trying, but there's still a lot between us and that place of sharing freely and powerfully. So what's in your way? Is it a fear of is it looking good? Oh my God, what are people going to think about me because I'm a network marketer, right? I think that's a big one. That was mine. I'll own it up. I owned up to that, right, Joni? I owned up to that, Dina.
Here's another way to look at it is what are you doing? What have you been doing? We'll call it in 2017. What have you been doing in this past year that is not serving you? What's been keeping you playing small? Those are the things that you're writing down. Does everybody have at least one or two things?
I do.
Hold up your paper if you have at least one or two things on there. Oh my goodness, look at Penny's list. Hold that up again, Penny. Holy moly, that's not your grocery list? Oh, you're muted.
It is 2 lists, so one has nothing to do with this, but the other is.
I'm like, go Penny.
I have to take coworker gifts to work tomorrow, so I'm making sure I have everybody.
Well, make sure you have it on a paper once you hear what you're doing with it. It has to be on a paper that's separate from other things. Oh, here's mine.
Genevieve, we did this on our team call.
Awesome.
Before.
And I got this idea from someone that's not on any of our teams, but maybe she saw that somebody else did it.
All right.
As well. I got this from.
Go for it, Genevieve.
Okay, so everybody's got, did everybody, Joni, you have yours? Everybody's got, Ruth's got hers. I can't see Sue or Lisa or Shannon's because they're not. Okay, so hopefully you guys have yours as well. So now you're gonna take that piece of paper. I'm gonna rip it up. Nice and small. And throw it away. Not with the coworker gifts though, Penny. Yep, everybody's muted and trying to talk. So if you want to say something, you got to unmute yourself.
The world is not served by us playing small. And I think we've all been playing small to some degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me included. I'm not, me included. And there are people out there that are waiting for the gift not only of their health, but the gift of this opportunity. And we have got to get more comfortable sharing it with people because we're doing them a huge disservice when we don't. I believe that with all of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, so this coming week, we'll take next Wednesday night off because I think I'm actually going to be in New York City. This coming week, here's your opportunity is that hopefully you have your story by now, and it's whatever story you're comfortable with. We shared, there's the Eric Worre version that's comfortable for me, which is your background, your pain point, like your background, what about it didn't work for you, the solution that you found, and what your life looks like now, right? There's the before Isagenix I was, or there's the Eric Worre one, which I think if you use the Eric Worre one, it might be easier to dig some pieces out because you can relate on background or whatever. But whatever it is, get really comfortable telling your story, and then what your life is like now, that's the excitement, that's the passion, that's what you love about what this system has done for your health or for your wealth, right? And then you can segue in whatever way is comfortable for you into what would you do if you didn't have to work? There's so many ways to have this conversation. There's so many points to have this conversation. Joni made it easy. She's got a whole system. She's got her IsaBody machine set up. She's got them coming in. They're doing the IsaBody, so they're 125 BV a month. Her retention is through the roof. She's getting their before and after. She's providing their power post for them and the suggestion of how you do a power post and what, like, that's brilliant, right? And then casting the vision at the appropriate point in that.
Can I say one quick thing, Dawn, that I've noticed repeatedly so far, and I keep feeling it over and over again. I think it's a really, really, really important thing that when we switch to the vision casting, which that's the part that I am loving more than anything, because we've been working on our stories and I think we've been missing out on the turning it to the vision casting. Do not make any assumptions about what that person that you're talking to is going to want for themselves. That is my thing about leaving it open-ended that I think is really important. I understand we each have to find our own way, but if my story has to do with wanting to, be with my kids, that thing, and I'm talking to somebody that has kids, I cannot make the assumption that that person wants the same thing. Leave it up to them to share that part with you. So figure out your wording, but leave it open to let them have the freedom to really say.
And don't assume that somebody that's driving around in a Mercedes and living in the house on the hill, right, Dina, like we talked about, isn't on the verge of bankruptcy. You have no idea. You have no idea. In fact, they're probably the ones that are on the verge of bankruptcy because they're overextended, but they're probably been in a business, they're business minded, and they're open to, they would even possibly be more open to the opportunity. Like, make no assumptions. Just get super, super, super centered and grounded in your place, in your belief, in your story. Be able to share that passionately and be really interested about what's going on for them and what you might be able to open up for them. Right? So I would make sure you practice all 4 scenarios that I put in the thread. There's 4 scenarios. Make sure you practice those 4 scenarios. I said to Dina tonight, I said, go down your whole personally enrolled list and say, hey, can I practice something on you? It's something I'm not good at. It's something I need to get better at because I have a heart of service. I want to serve the world and I need to get better at this piece of my business. Can I practice on you? Just go down your list of personally enrolled, one after the other, and you ding dong well better come out of that conversation being super clear about what their why is. Right? Like that's what you want to know, all your personally enrolled, what their why is. Even if you have to go in sideways with a practice conversation, they'll tell you. If you're interested and you're open and they don't feel pressured, they'll tell you. Okay, let's wrap it up. We'll keep it sweet and short and simple. Keep sharing your wins in the thread. We've got a long way to go, but I feel like we made a lot of really good progress this week. And we're going to start hearing the wins are going to be, oh my God, I met this stranger on the street. I shared my vision and they're getting on our wealth call tonight. Like that's the kind of wins we could have if we get good at this, right? Okay, everybody. I don't know. Some of you I'll talk to before Christmas and some of you I won't. So happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you, Dawn. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. This was great.
Oh, good.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ruth.
Yes.
Ruth, we didn't hear from you. I kept meaning to call on you and then other people started talking. Do you have a couple minutes? Do you have a couple minutes?
Good.
Do you have a couple minutes to share with me what happened for you when you were practicing?
Sure. I practiced with Genevieve and with Dina and just used scenarios that I'm uncomfortable with. Today with Genevieve, it was just a follow-up call after she had just started the products. So she had to really dig back to remember what that was going to be like for her. And I find tonight that some of the things that I struggle with, they're the same, but they're different. So I have to still keep thinking through how to figure out what I need to change and in the way that I'm approaching people. One of the things you said was effectively and having an effective conversation. And I'm in a networking group. We went to a Christmas dinner last night, and a lot of the people I've talked to before, well, Rick hadn't met them. So I kind of left him on this prospect that I had been kind of after for several networking meetings to try and get at least an appointment to present to him. And Rick was doing real well until he said, well, he's going in, and I walked away. I just wasn't even there. And we find that we get to the point where, well, if I could show you how to blah, 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 that would be good for you, would you take a look? And, and he gave it, I figured out it wasn't just me because he gave Rick the same response. Like he was real friendly and nice until you get to that. And he says, oh yeah, well, someday we'll have to do that, and walks away. So that's kind of funny. I feel like I need to move to a new country. I don't think my area is very receptive, but that's not true either because I've got all these people. I go to Gold's Gym up here and I see all these people, and sometimes I talk to them. Sometimes I don't. And I'm not sure what's holding me back. I'm not sure what's actually in my way. I don't know if it is. Well, I know that I attract needy people rather than people who just want something better. We've discovered, that's been our issue for the whole 6 years. And I'm not quite sure how to change or what to change. I'm working on trying to change so that that's not the type of person that I'm attracting. Because needy people just keep being needy.
Yeah, they do.
They don't change. But that's, but my heart is to help people who need the help. So I'm not really sure, what it takes. I've made one big change that I have been successful at is realizing that, I have to ask, may I make a recommendation? I have to ask for permission to ask questions. I've learned to not be so, well, let me tell you about this. And Genevieve and I had that discussion a little bit today too. So yeah, I think this is it's good for me to reach out. I'm still working on, I have an accountability partner who's not in the business yet. And but she's doing her own thing and I'm doing mine, and we're trying to hold each other accountable. And so I have to send her a telephone text, just a text with a little telephone picture on it every time I make a call, because making calls is one of the things that I have had to overcome. And so this, even making calls in the group here that's a good thing for me, just making the telephone call. Yeah, so that's where I am.
Okay, so what is your belief in the company
100%.
and in the product?
100%.
Yeah, you're a product of the product. You always have been.
It's yeah. I mean, that's one of my strongest things is, I just I know what the product's done for me, and I know what it can do for others. I have a minimal success with a lady that's come back. This is her third time. She started and stopped 3 times in 3 different years. And so,
Guess what, Ruth?
it's
I have a lady
Yeah.
that started and stopped 3 different times over like 7 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she just enrolled 4 people today.
I've got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping to get her on.
It finally stuck. She's like, I'm an ISA. I'm ISA for life. I haven't felt this good in years. I've lost 40 pounds. I have energy. People are commenting. Everybody's ready. Here's my group. What do I need to do to get them started? Just like that.
That's kind of what I'm working towards. So I'm good at being consistently there, but I don't know. And
So where's the issue? Is the issue with yourself or with network marketing?
Yeah,
Huh?
it's just myself.
So you don't have an issue with being a network marketer or an image issue with, what people think about network marketers. You don't have an issue with that.
Not what people think about it or think about me. No. Just getting past objections. Oh, it's an MLM and network marketing, but we've gotten enough tools now. I've heard, I have enough tools to get past that. I mean, yes, it's word of mouth marketing, but that's what we all do, isn't it? So yeah.
Well, I think, it depends on the person you're talking to, right? It always depends on the person you're talking to. Some people just say, oh, it's one of those things, and they have no idea what it is. They really have no idea what network marketing is. They have no idea, it's so easy. I say, you know what? If network marketing is a pyramid scheme and the person at the top makes all the money and the people underneath make what, then this isn't that, because I could show you example after example after example of people who are, there's a leader here and there's somebody under the, in fact, like Genevieve and Tara, right? Genevieve enrolled Tara. Tara makes a lot more money than Genevieve does, right? Or she did up until like a few months ago. Genevieve's starting to catch up to her. But so it's not a pyramid. I love when they ask the question. When you can get to the point where you're like laughing when they ask the question, like I can show you it's not a pyramid, because there's people on my team who have made more money than me some weeks, right? And there's plenty of people on the team that right now make more money than their leader. And do you know, like these products are so amazing, right, Ruth? And you can maybe you come from here. These products are so amazing. I'm so blessed to have found these products. And if it wasn't for this distribution system of the 21st century, network marketing, these products never would have made it to market because it cost $250 million to bring a product to market. We have 75 products at Isagenix. Do you think they would have made it to market at 250 million with a price tag of 250 million per product?
No.
So we wouldn't have access to all of, we wouldn't have these amazing products. They wouldn't exist because, you know, it's, and the products that aren't any good, nobody refers them.
Right.
Like this is word of mouth marketing. So the products that aren't any good, they try them and they don't work, they disappear. Like this is the ultimate democracy, right?
Yep.
So that's how, like when you can have fun with it and love when they say, is this an MLM? You're like, right on it is. And you know what's so great about that? And then take away, you know, and say, you know what? I felt the same way you did. I was the biggest, I hated MLMs. I thought, you know, whatever you want to take, you want to definitely get yourself there if you're not there. So your belief in yourself in what way is standing in your way?
One of the things that it keeps coming back to my mind is, am I willing to put the work out that needs to be done? You know, I think I am, but then when it push comes to shove, I'm not doing the work.
Which part of the work?
I'm not talking to the people. I'm not getting out there and talking to the people.
You like coaching?
I love coaching.
Yeah, I figured.
No,
I did.
I have two people I'm coaching, so you know. I need to. I you know, you give me a team, I coach them, but it doesn't work that way. So yeah, and people willing to be coached. So I mean, I have John and Ann are. We thought were going to be our shining stars, and they just, because I guess I'm not really having any momentum, I can't get momentum built under them. They tried, they had a couple meetings, but you know, we just can't seem to get the fire lit under people to stick it out. It's just it's just slow going. I mean, we've got a couple people, and then people drop out, and I can't communicate with them. I can't get them to talk back to me. I can't get them to answer their phone.
When you share your story, what's your story?
When I share my story, it's about the fact that, you know, finally had control of my weight. All my life I had been slightly overweight, if not more than slightly overweight. And it was detrimental to my health. And I was aging prematurely because the doctor said it was just aging that was causing all my difficulties. And I didn't want to hear that at 60 because I was planning on a very active retirement. And I didn't want to know that I wasn't going to be able to do the boating activities and the activities that Rick and I had planned. And so when I was introduced to Isagenix, within 3 months, I had lost 30 pounds, gained 10 pounds of lean muscle mass. And now I'm in control of my weight. I can eat healthy. And when I want to have a cheat day, I can have it. And I know that I can cleanse, like you said at the beginning of the meeting. I did my cleanse yesterday and half of today. I didn't make it all the way day, but
thank God, Ruth. Thank God. Can you imagine if, like, you woke up in the morning and you felt out of control and you felt like you've been eating sugar, like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And you didn't know what to do. You didn't have a tool in your tool belt. You were like, and you just continued in that spiral.
I'd be hopeless, and I'd really be, you know, very sad by now because of that, you know, that's what I came out of. So I know what it felt like before, and I just don't want to ever go there again. So, yeah. So it's the better health that the products have afforded me and control of my weight really is the biggie. And I'm missing factors I'm missing that I hear other people talk about is that burning desire that the fire isn't in me to create this big team. I want to help people and I want people to want it and I'm going to be there for them. But, I don't have that burning need. I have things, I have desires. I mean, our big why is for Drew and Tracy to have their home for teenagers. And, that's always been there. And that's the main thing. But we've been working on other businesses and I'm like, we have real estate, not businesses, so to speak. We have rental properties. And even with retiring, I have a desire, but so far I haven't had that hammer to the nail, absolute, well, if I don't do something, I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do tomorrow. So I feel like I'm fighting that. I'm fighting needing to make myself do all the stuff that has to be done to make this business work the way we know it can work. And I sit there and I listen to everybody else and I see everybody else doing it. And I know I'm supposed to do the matrix and I know I'm supposed to do this. And it's like, okay, maybe tomorrow. Yeah. And we were doing pretty good for about 3 days. Rick was helping me. And so we're still working at it. It's one of these things where we just don't quit. And one of these days it'll all fit together. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'd like to be better, but that's where I'm at.
Okay. So your why is their why, really, right?
That and our own health and being able to have the lifestyle in retirement that we want. Our needs are met, but in order to have the traveling lifestyle and the cruises and the fun stuff that we do, right now we do that through our Isogenics volunteering for the events that satisfies that.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes us feel like we're at least moving in a positive direction. So, it's a family why more than I have this terrible desire to have something for myself. Except that I know my purpose in life is to help others and to do the best that I can be. And so that means to be the healthiest I can be. And so we don't quit.
Well, I think that, I mean, I don't need to make more money right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't wake up in the morning and my bills are paid. I don't need to make more money. But there's so many people out there. I mean, you heard Penny.
That do, yeah.
She's trying to get home to her daughter, Jill, Jill's Poppy and my Maisie are friends from elementary school. Poppy's her only daughter. She's desperate to get home to Poppy. Poppy's in daycare from 7 a.m. until 6 o'clock at night.
Mm.
And she's in 7th grade. And she's in aftercare, like at the school. Like she's at school, whatever that is, 7 to 6, 11 hours. And she's this brilliant, she's funny and she's cute and she's fun. And Jill's just like grasping at every minute with her. And so desperate to there's so many people out there. And so for me, the mission is not for me to make more money. I don't get up in the morning going, oh, you know, if I work really hard, I can, you know, it's not, there's no meaning in that. For me, it's all these people, you know, I mean, the majority of it is just the moms that want to get home to their kids. Like Genevieve, you know, she's one of them. She wants desperately to be with, just, you know, completely present and there for every baseball practice, there for everything.
Yeah.
And so we have that. We have the way for people to do that. But so Ruth, you know, so maybe your people that you're talking to, they're not moms who want to get home to their kids. So maybe they're for older people. Yeah, Judy. And Judy said, oh, none of my friends want to do the business, right? Do the business. The eternal do the business. None of my friends want to do the business. I said, okay, well, you know, tell me about your friends. Oh, there's Susie. I said, okay. So I said, does Susie have grandkids? She said, yeah. And I said, well, I get that Susie doesn't want to do the business, but what if she could share and make enough money to take her kids and her grandkids on a Disney cruise? She goes, oh my God, she would light right up. I said, well, why don't you talk to her about that instead of doing the business? No. Right? You gotta figure out what it is, you know.
That lights the other person up.
That lights the other person up.
Yep.
And you got to be able to share with excitement and enthusiasm what part you're excited about.
Yep.
And right now you're not very excited.
Not tonight, no, but
tonight. But so you need to connect with that, because if you're not connected either with your excitement for being able to create some income so that you can have your cruises and your retirement lifestyle that you want, or your excitement and your absolute passion for helping moms get home to their kids or helping seniors, you know, maybe yours is more about helping seniors be able to have a stress-free retirement, helping seniors, you know, retire with ease, helping seniors, you know, have residual income so they don't have to watch their life savings. Like, it's super stressful, right?
Oh yeah.
Living off your retirement.
But for some reason, even when I've talked to people in those situations, it's just like, you know, they just can't, I'm not casting the vision. I'm not getting the vision out there for them. And I think some of it's because I feel like, you know, because we have never gotten that momentum going and actually known personally that success of getting enough people involved so that it is really doing what we're telling the people it's going to do.
Right.
That's I guess my biggest dichotomy, you know. And it's like for 6 years I've been saying as well as thinking, well, if you get in with me and we get started, then we could all do this, but nobody ever gets in, so nobody ever gets started, so we're not doing it. And so since we haven't done it, how can I tell somebody else they can do it? Because I can tell your stories and I can tell other people's stories, but it's not the same.
Yeah, no, I know it's not the same. I mean, I told my upline story for a long time.
Yep.
I told their story for a really long time until I finally got to the point where I could tell a story. But, you know, at the end of the day, so casting the vision is important at the end, but,
yep.
You know, and I do think that we all need to work on it. And product users are 85% of our client base.
Absolutely. And I've really been, that's kind of where my focus has been recently, is just getting people to use the product one way or the other. So, you know, it's kind of funny. We have this fellow who claims he's a network marketer who really needs to do something, and even got him and his wife to Jimmy's meeting. And Jimmy was there, and Jimmy presented, and Jimmy was Jimmy. And I still can't get that guy off of first base. So anyway.
Was he excited by what Jimmy presented?
Oh yeah, he went home. He used the products that he had won because they had a big raffle that night, and he just can't. I think he's more talk than anything, and he's got a company. He's with a company that he's making a little bit of residual income right now, and he can't even think of that going away unless he knows that he can make this other one go, because they're living hand to mouth, and his wife has a lot of medical issues. So I'm like, well, if you feed her the isogenics, but anyway. But you know, these are excuses. It's just, as Rick would tell you if he was, or he's probably over there thinking it now, we just have to get out and talk to enough people. So it seems to be my job to make sure that we're out talking to people. So I keep working on that. We're kind of introverted. I mean, we're great at being outgoing, but we could sit at home and just watch each other too, you know. So.
You know, most of the successful leaders in the company are introverts.
I know. I've read that.
It's true. It's true. When I go to Celebration, that is not an easy event for me.
Yeah.
I have to go back to the room, and I don't ever share a room with anybody because I need to recharge. Because it's hard on me. It is.
Yeah, well, that's how Drew is too. He gets even, we usually try and get a 2-bedroom condo if we can, and because he needs the space just to decompress.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of benefits to being an introvert too, right? You're usually more empathetic. You're able to connect with people better. You're actually a better listener. There's a lot that goes along with being an introvert. We're more strategic thinkers. We're planners. We're, a lot of things.
Yeah, but you have to put those plans into action. So.
You do.
All right. Listen, Dawn, I appreciate so much you taking some extra time. I really do.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the yawn. It's been a tough couple days, but I think that
we'll keep working at it.
Maybe focus on making it fun.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Making it more fun.
Make it a game. Okay, whoever gets the first, phone number buys the other one a glass of wine, or I don't know. Make it fun. Make it not feel like
work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful holidays with your family. Right. I've loved watching you over watching all of you over these years.
Aren't Robin's babies adorable?
Oh gosh.
Aren't they so precious?
They are so gorgeous. Really are.
Yeah.
So, well, God bless. Take care.
All right. Bye, Ruth.
Bye-bye.